Next, we'll talk about the different ways to measure the rate of transpiration. To get a rough idea of the rate of transpiration, the first method which may be used is the weighing method. In weighing method, a potted plant is taken. Its pot is covered with a polythene bag and it is kept in the sun. But before that, it is weighed. It is kept in sun for a certain period of time and then weighed again. And the loss in weight is noted, and this gives us an idea about the amount of water lost. But this is just gives us a very rough idea or rough estimate. Weighing method was improvised. A special kind of glass bottle is used and it has a side tube attached to it. The water was till this level earlier. An uprooted plant is put in this bottle and transpiration would occur for some time. The difference in the level is noted here. This level falls and this much volume of water it means has been lost. We know the weight of this much volume of water, we may weigh and find out, and we'll come to know how much water was lost in how much time. And loss of water per unit time gives us an idea of the rate of transpiration. But no matter how much we improvise, weighing methods are more or less rough even when done in a test tube. With a potted plant, the weight of the soil undergoes some change, so it is very inaccurate. If we take it in a test tube filled with water, having little oil on it to prevent surface evaporation, weigh this test tube beforehand, let it be in the sun, and then weigh it after some time and calculate the loss in weight per unit time. So these are different improvisations of the weight method, but still overall this method gives us a very rough idea of the rate of transpiration. A better method is the potometer method. Potometer is a glass apparatus or a device which is used to measure the rate of transpiration. Truly speaking, it measures the rate of absorption because we take it for granted that the amount of water absorbed is equal to the amount of water transpired because very little water is actually being used by the plant. Less than 1% of water absorbed is used for photosynthesis or other activities. So most of it is lost by transpiration. So potometer is a device which actually measures the amount of water absorbed or the rate of water intake by the plant, which is almost equal to the amount of water lost through transpiration. So we could say potometer is a device which helps us to measure the rate of transpiration. How? By measuring the rate of water intake by the plant. Now, different kinds of potometer designs were proposed by different scientists. The one which is in your syllabus is the Ganong's potometer. This is what a Ganong's potometer looks like. And some more names are mentioned in your book which you need to mark. We have Darwin's potometer and Garrio's potometer. Now, other two names only are there in your syllabus. Otherwise, a full question is framed on Ganong's potometer. This is known as a reservoir. This is the bulb of the potometer. This is a glass tube which is open at this end. This is a graduated scale which is fitted on this potometer and a stopcock which is present here. This is a beaker which contains some colored water. Now what we do is we open this stopcock and start filling water from here and put our thumb on this end and fill the entire potometer with this water. This is the bulb of the potometer which has a rubber cork which has a hole or a bore exactly of the same size as the diameter of this stem. This twig is fitted here. This entire setup is made airtight. Some grease is applied here and it is made airtight. We remove our thumb from this end of the capillary tube which is open, and under water only we keep pressing our thumb on this and remove it. Again we press it and then remove it. A repeated action like this under water helps us to introduce air bubble into this. Usually several air bubbles enter. We open the stopcock, let the water flow out and allow only one air bubble to remain here. But this is one of the major limitations of the potometer. Introducing or retaining a single air bubble takes some time. Once we are ready with our air bubble, we start taking the reading. Let this air bubble climb up and reach point 0 in our scale. Keep this set up in the sunlight or whatever condition you are testing. Say you are testing the rate of transpiration on a still day and in a windy day, or in low intensity of sunlight and high intensity, we give it different conditions. And under the required conditions, we start observing the movement of the bubble. We keep a record of the time and the distance traveled in that time. Say we take a reading after every 15 minutes. So we study the movement of this air bubble from 0 till whatever mark it reaches for 15 minutes. And whatever distance it has traveled per unit time. 3 such readings are taken. Average of this is calculated, and distance traveled by the air bubble would be equivalent to the amount of water taken up by the cut end of the twig, or in other words, amount of water lost by transpiration. So this would help us to measure the rate of transpiration. Remember, none of the methods are accurate, neither the potometer method nor the weighing method. But out of the two, the better one is the potometer method. Your question on this, because weighing method is very rough method. This is more accurate in contrast to that. Here also we have to take a minimum of 3 readings to get a rough idea of the amount of water intake by the plant due to transpiration. So you need to learn the definition of potometer, the name of this potometer, how it works. Other related questions which are given here are, why is the water colored? So colored water, inside colored water, it is easy to see the movement of the air bubble. Its movement can be noted down. Why is the scale fitted here? To find out the distance traveled by the bubble per unit time. What is the purpose of reservoir? Reservoir is to restart the experiment, not only to fill water, but to reset the position of the air bubble. That means once this air bubble, say in 15 minutes or half an hour, moves from here to here, we have to take the next reading. So we simply open this stopcock, and what happens? This water comes from here, this bubble comes back to 0 position. We close this stopcock and again start taking our reading. So to reset the experiment or to restart the experiment, the reservoir helps us. And from here, more and more water can be added. Then you are asked what precautions need to be taken. This entire setup has to be made watertight and airtight. No leakage should be there. Second precaution is this twig should be cut under water. Its end has been cut obliquely. This end should be cut under water, because if we cut it in air, some air bubbles might enter it, and these air bubbles might block the xylem vessels, and so water intake or water absorption would be affected. So this should be cut under water to prevent entry of air bubbles in the xylem vessel. Then there are limitations of the potometer. One limitation, as explained to you just now, was that introducing a single air bubble is a task. So it takes some time and it requires some expertise. Second, the twig may not remain turgid or alive for a long time. You have just used a part of the plant which is not in contact with any root system. So after some time it might show wilting or droop down and might not give accurate results. And third is, any change in the outside air temperature may affect the position of the air bubble in the capillary tube. So prepare 2 limitations, 2 precautions, definition of potometer and purpose, that is, it measures the rate of transpiration or the rate of water intake by the plant. And names of 2 other potometers, that is Garrio's potometer, which is used to find out unequal transpiration from the 2 surfaces of a dorsiventral leaf, or Darwin's potometer, which demonstrates the suction force or the pull created during transpiration. Mark these 2 potometers as well.